Can we start the program? Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Again, good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you who are present here, respected guests, faculty members, and students. A special thanks to all the chief guests who are here. Reverend Father Simon Raj, Director of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Principal of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman and CEO of Research Foundation of India, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD of Research Foundation of India, and Professor Rachel Pawar, Professor at STEPS. It's an honor to be graced by the presence of such an accomplished people. Thank you for accepting this invitation, for giving your valuable time today, and guiding our students to the new beginning. Greetings to you all. I hope you all are comfortable and enjoying yourselves. Firstly, I am just so grateful and extremely overwhelmed that all of us are here together under the same meeting. Uh, it is not every day that we all are able to join with our loved ones. I is just quite ecstatic about this, and the presence of all of you has made this day even more extraordinary. Work as if everything depends on you, pray as if everything depends on God. Now, I would like to call Miss Anjali Jaiswal for an opening prayer and surrendering this whole program into the Lord's hand. Anjali, over to you.
Please join your hands and close your eyes. Let us pray for the knowledge and wisdom. O God, you are the source of knowledge and wisdom. We humbly ask you to enlighten our minds and hearts so that the efforts we put in to acquire knowledge and wisdom may always inspire us to seek you, the eternal truth. Strengthen our resolve so that we may be committed to doing only what is right and what is good. Amen.
Thank you, Anjali, for this beautiful prayer. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Ms. Sania Rizvi for introduction of our session expert for today. So, Sania, over to you.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, our family is here to introduce Professor Rachel Pawar. Professor Rachel Pawar is a graduation and post-graduation in business administration. She has done 2.5 years of the industry experience, 2 years of training and development experience, and 4 years of academic experience. She is also published writer, involved with some NGOs, and second time as a resource person for RFI. Thank you.
Thank you, Sania, for this beautiful introduction. Now, moving forward, as always, I invite all of you to please switch on your cameras so we can take one beautiful photo. So, everyone who is present here, kindly switch on your cameras. Again, those who all are present here, kindly switch on your cameras. Yeah, okay.
Done.
Thank you. Now, moving forward, I invite Professor Rachel Pawar, ma'am, for the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, Alvin. I would like to just check my connection for a minute if you could allow that. Is this better? So, Nadi ma'am, if you could please confirm if am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll be sharing my screen, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's not visible.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. So, once again, very yes. Good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Professor Ilse Pawar, and I'm currently associated with St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies as an assistant professor. And before I begin today's session, I would like to thank the comparer and the person who gave my introduction for those kind words. Also, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to the Research Foundation of India for giving me this platform whereby I could interact with you all. I could, when the group photo was being taken, I could see a few faces that I know and a few faces that are that we first time are interacting. So, for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, this I am very new to the academia, but being associated with this institution has taught me a lot, and I am here to share a little bit about what I have learned over the few years with all of you all. And earlier to this, I was a training personnel. I was into training and development. And there I met different kinds of people who used to come from different walks of life, all moving towards the same goal, making sure that their careers are all set, they are all earning well and doing well in life and making sure that they are ahead in their game. That is when that is where each one of us is kind of similar, right? That is a common point for all of us who are in this meeting, that we are all looking forward to develop ourselves, hence this student and faculty development program. And whilst we are here, one common fact again is that we are also going through these various career development stages in our life. While working on this topic, I was thinking about how to go ahead and begin. And I thought that what would be the best point to start is that each one of us here is trying to come to a portion where we can say that now I am one step ahead in my career, or I'm doing well with my career. Talking about the same, I was looking up on the Google and I found this very interesting concept, which is called as a life rainbow. Few of you who have an acquaintance with the subject human resources would see this, would know this chart, right? We call this as the stages of career development, wherein you have exploration, establishment, maintenance, and decline. Now, when I was looking at this, I saw that each one of us can relate either to any one of these stages. Some of us are in exploration. The student fraternity here is definitely in
Sorry
the.
to disturb you, ma'am. Your second slide is not visible. Please click on the second slide.
Just a second, ma'am. I will reshare.
Okay.
By the way, thank you so much, Sonali, ma'am, for that prompt. I needed that. Are we better now, ma'am?
No, ma'am, it's not visible.
Sorry for the error. Now is it?
Yes, ma'am, it's right.
Thank you so much, Sonali, ma'am. Once again, sorry everybody for the error. So, like I was speaking, those of us who come from HR fraternity would be finding the relevance of this particular picture that is on the screen right now. So, each one of us relates to, at least all of us who are here might relate to one of the stages that are mentioned here. We are either in exploration or we are in an establishment stage, or some of us might be in the maintenance stage. But I'm certain that each one of us would relate to a certain phase of this particular life rainbow. And one important thing that is going to stay constant through this life rainbow is the kind of satisfaction, the kind of inner contentment that you feel when you're on each of these stages. And of course, on the early stages of this rainbow, it is comparatively easy to attain that satisfaction. But when you go for higher aspirations, it becomes more and more difficult to come to to know when to stop, to know when you are contented, to know when you're fulfilled. And that is what makes the chase, more and more rough, because as the time passes, we try to achieve more, but there is always this question of what's next that keeps harboring our brain at every point of time, making us question if you're going in the right direction, and making us question if this is enough, or making us question that should I go ahead, or should I stop, or should I rethink my priorities and whatnot. So you get the point. You basically, everybody in their career, whether they are starting on the career, whether they are in mid of their career, whether even if they are retiring in their career, they always have this question of what next that is harboring their brain. Which brings me to people, when they are in this field or in any particular industry for that matter, in the chase of getting ahead, in the chase of making sure that I'm enough, are always talking about the skills that are needed. And we all know, through this wonderful session that we have been having over so many days, we all know that there are two kinds of skills that most of the industries focus on, that is hard skills and soft skills. And again, throughout this course of days, you must have heard a lot of renowned speakers and good speakers coming in and talking about soft skills, and they must have told you about communication and critical thinking and adaptability, and making sure that your time is well managed, making sure that you're taking the right decisions, which will help you eventually get a good start in your career, or maybe if you're in your career, maybe help you get ahead of your competition. It all boils down to that, having the right kind of skills, essentially. So, considering that, there is one question that will always be there: is it enough? Is this enough? Do I stop now? That one question. And for that very question is what is the kind of answer that I'm trying to bring here today. While working on this, when I got this opportunity to speak on something which will be related to soft skills, I was speaking to the concerned person at our institution who generously gave me this opportunity to interact with all of you all. I was speaking to him, and then suddenly this concept, this Japanese concept, struck my brain, which I would be speaking about today. And the Japanese concept goes by the name of ikigai, right? We know Japan has always been this land of very strong technological orientation and very strong life orientation, and they have very high values for themselves, and they make sure that they have this very concrete belief that they stick to. And considering that, they have this very interesting concept which has been gaining popularity recently, and the concept, of course, is in the name of ikigai. And you will find books, TED talks, newspaper articles, whatnot on this topic. This concept essentially is not very recent, though. This is a very old concept, but it has been recently gaining popularity. And the words ikigai itself translates to iki being life and gai being worth. So basically, what this concept talks about is, if what you're doing in life, is it worth it? Like at the end of the day, ikigai will help you live longer and become more fulfilled in your life, have that feeling of satisfaction. Because at the end of the day, uh, to have that contentment is what everybody wants. I was listening to this very good actor the other day, R Madhavan. I'm pretty sure most of us must have heard his name. He was talking about this. He was talking to a group of students in his motivational speech, and he was talking to those students. And in his speech, he said that maybe I am earning 5 crores or 10 crores or 20 crores today, but eventually, when life throws a challenge at me, I need a people by my side telling me that it is okay and I'll get through. I need that inner confidence to overcome the challenges. I need that contentment to sleep well at night. I need my health. I need that on priority. Money, of course, I'm not going to say that that is not important. Nobody is going to ever say that that is not important. But what comes prior to that is making sure that you find your ikigai, making sure that you have a very fulfilling life, making sure that through that fulfilling life, you live longer. Now, it's not just an abstract concept. This picture I got from an authenticated government website of Japan. And if you could please pay attention to the lady on the left who's with that sewing needle, she is Tiara Toshiko. And looking at her, I'm pretty sure most of us would not guess that she's a 101-year-old lady as of 2022. She was 20, somewhere around that zone. She turned 101. And this particular lady in 2000, she received an honor which was designated by the government there. And she has been working in this age of 101. She has been working as a textile artisan to preserve a very niche art of Okinawa culture, Okinawa craft. So Okinawa is where this concept of ikigai essentially came from. And Okinawa is a place in Japan where the government has clearly released the data stating that the highest aged population people live in this area. The people in this area live the longest lives. And in their longest lives, even in 90 years of age, 100 years of age, these people are making a living and they are healthy and they are happy and they are doing what they want to do in life because their life is driven by this term or this concept which we call ikigai. And they call themselves driven by this concept, they call themselves that they have a life which is driven by purpose. Now, I've been giving you too much background on what this ikigai is. Let me quickly show you what the concept is. So this essentially, over the years of research, people have given us this one wholesome picture of what an ikigai for a person looks like. Now, every individual will have their own ikigai, right? Uh, this particular chart has four quadrants to it, four circles to it, and each of these four circles represent an aspect of your being. The first one, of course, this is a career development session, so I'll be keeping it strictly to the career, and this is relevant, please. So, if the first circle you look at, that basically talks about what do you love to do. If it is a craft or a passion or a hobby, whatever it is, the first circle will talk about what do you love, what you love. The second circle talks about what you're good at, right? If you're good at something, for example, somebody could be a good speaker, somebody could be a very good artist, or somebody could be very good with craft or anything or something of that sort, right? So the second circle talks about what you're good at. The third circle asks you what you can be paid for. Whatever you love and whatever you can be paid for are two different things. They can be different things in each one of our lives. But that is what this ikigai is all about. You have to find an intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So, an intersection of what you love and what you're good at is generally your passion. That is the thing that you're most passionate about. So, it could be anything that you actually like doing. And then when you're doing it, it's just not that you're mediocre or you're average at it, you're actually good at it. So, if you're good at it, it essentially turns into your passion. And it's something that you're good at is something that you can also be paid for. For example, few of us here are really good faculty members. So if you're good at your subject knowledge and you can also be paid for that subject knowledge, you essentially turn that thing into your profession, right? So your profession should be a mixture of what you're good at and what you can be paid for. There is another term in here which stands by the term of vocation. So there is something that you can be paid for, and that is something if the world needs it, if the people around you, if the community around you needs it, it will turn into your vocation. And if there is an intersection of something that you love and the world needs it, it will turn into your mission. Now, this ikigai is a combination of all of these things. In your life, when you want to have a fulfilled, meaningful, purpose driven life, like the people in Okinawa are having, they are trying to find an intersection of all of these four questions. That is, what do I love? What am I good at? Good at? Can I be paid for it? And does the world around me, do the people around me, do they really need it? Because essentially, if it's a career or if it's a profession or if it's a business, you eventually need people to be accepting of it. So if the world doesn't need it, if there is no requirement of that particular thing in the world, you can see those are the tiny arrows that are being drawn from the between. So if the world needs it, but you don't love it, okay, like there is a requirement of you not loving the job and that the world needs it. There will be delightful. You'll be delightful while doing it. There will be the sense of feeling, but you won't have the wealth for it. You won't get the money, right? So in the intersections of these ikigai, if you do not find the right combination, you will somewhere feel that void. Let me elaborate on that. For example, if you look at the first circle, that is what you love, and you find something that you're good at. So you love maybe say painting, and you're good at it, right? You love painting and you're good at it. At the same point of time, you have this idea that you can be paid for it, right? You love painting, you're good at it, and you can be paid for it. But the world does not need it. If it is not appreciated by the people around you, if your art is not cherished, if your art is not, if your art is not recognized by the people, you will definitely have a sense of satisfaction. But somewhere down the line, through the stages of your career, you will feel that sense of a little tiny feeling of uselessness. That's what this concept says. That you will not you will not feel that, oh, I have a purpose or I'm driven. That feeling will be lost some if it is an intersection of that. If it is an intersection of what you're good at and you can be paid for it, and the world also needs it, but you don't love that part. You don't like doing that job. You're definitely good at it, so you are getting paid for it, and the world of course needs that thing for you to be done. Maybe you're a doctor and you are good at your job and you're getting paid for it, and the world also needs it. But if you don't essentially love medicine, if you don't have a love for it, you will be comfortable, you will find all the right things that you want in life, but there will be this sense of emptiness that you will feel at the end of the day, that lack of purpose that you will feel in your gut. That is what this concept talks about. Then there is another intersection that says that if you're good at it, and for example, if you love what you do and the world needs it and you can be paid for it, but you're not good at it, right? You're still lacking some set of skills. You don't have the right kind of mixture for it. Then there will be definitely excitement in doing that job because you'll be learning everything, learning something new every day. You will have this, really strong purpose and everything. But since you're not good at it, you will never have that sense of certainty that I am going to stick around. Because anytime any competition can come, anything, something better than you can come, and you can be easily replaced because you're not good at what you do. And in this world of competition, we all know that it is easy to get replaced. So I believe I have given you an entire picture of what this concept talks about. It basically is that center that we are looking for, that center by which this concept of Japan is driven by, that you must find an intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs, right? I hope I'm not boring you too much. If you guys can just ping me a yes or a Y or something in the chat box so that I know that you guys are with me and I've been able to thoroughly go through this concept. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you for those of you who are responding. Any kind of response would be good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so those of you who are with me, I hope that you are able to understand what I'm trying to go for here. Talking about those students or those people who are interested and now would like to discover your ikigai, right? This, of course, for the faculty fraternity here, we can also help our students find what their purpose of life. Many of them come to us, talk to us about what should be their, what kind of career should they pursue? Would they be good at that? Is that the right choice? Is that the right specialization for them? Do you think they would be able to make a good career out of it? Maybe this is how we can help them. We can help them by telling them that they should try to find their ikigai by answering these 4 questions, which I've now broken down into levels for easier understanding. So talking about the first aspect, what do you love? That is the first question that you must answer when trying to find your ikigai. So what do you love? That can be broken down into, are you absorbed or involved in your work? When you're doing what you're doing, do you feel like this is something that keeps me engaged? This is something that I like to do. Do you have that feeling? Oh, I can't get back. I can't wait to get back to that, right? There is a question right below that. Are you more excited about going to work rather than about leaving work, right? Some of us are very excited when we're going out, and when we're coming in, we are like down about it. Oh, we have to come back. So that answer has to be there. That, are you more excited to be there or you're more excited to leave from there? Do you feel an emotional connection to your work results? If your work results are coming in, for example, your students are passing, or if you have achieved a job, or if you were given a target and you've accomplished that target, do you feel that emotional connection? Do you feel that, oh, this is what I was aspiring for, that brings you an inner happiness? That is what loving your job, that is what essentially loving your calling means. Second thing that you've got to answer before you find your ikigai is what you're good at. What you're doing, definitely you love it. Now you know that you feel more involved, you feel more excited in doing that, you feel more engaged, you feel that rush coming in when the work is positive, you feel good. But are you good at it? Do people ask you for advice on the topic related to your work? When you're talking to them, do they come back to you? Do they talk to you? Do they ask you for advice? Are there parts of your job that come easily to you? Sometimes things are not so difficult for us, right? Sometimes when you're doing something and it is natural, you don't have to work too hard to get to that point. If it comes naturally to you, are you best at what you're doing? Even if not best, that feeling of, people looking up to you. Are you, do you want to be an expert at what you do? If you're in a certain job and you can't wait to reach to the next level, you can't wait to, go to the next higher authority. That is love. But do you really deserve it? Do people around you see you as a deserving candidate for that? Right? This is an external scanning analysis. So what you're good at will be the second question that you've got to ask. The third question is, of course, what does the world need? You have to find an intersection here, and this is where your most external orientation to this topic will come. Is your work considered a high demand in the marketplace? Because essentially, if you want to have a career per se, a good career, you have to make sure that the market needs it. Even when we are teaching our students, or even when we are studying the concepts of management or commerce or anything of that sort, it is very important to understand the demand of that particular commodity in the market. And if there is no demand, there might as well be no supply. Because if the people don't want it, if the world doesn't need it, what is the point of having it there? It could be very shiny and beautiful and could be the best of the things, but if the world doesn't need it, if there is no demand in the marketplace, your work could be irrelevant, as we saw in the previous slide. Picture the next 10 years and 100 years. Will your work still be valuable? We have seen a lot of AI coming in, right? And that is how we tell people that now you must be more technologically oriented, or we tell our students to go for courses which are more technologically oriented rather than traditional oriented courses. All of us are somewhere down the line involved in getting more IT knowledge and all of that. Why? Because we picture the next 10 years and we see that this is what is the next thing, this is the next big thing that is going to come in, and we work for that, we try to get acquainted with that, and once we're acquainted, the problem of what the world needs can be solved. Are you solving a social, economic, or environmental problem? Right? We have people who are famous, uh, irrespective of the background. Some people may be economically very powerful, but there are people who are equally famous and equally contented, even though they are not working for an economic cause. They're working for a social cause, or they're working for an environmental cause. But that is what drives them, and the world definitely needs it, right? And the last question that you've got to ask to find your ikigai is, can you be paid for it? Because at the end of the day, it is important that return flow in, right? Those returns have to come back. So are there other people getting paid for the same job? Can you make a living out of it? Is there a healthy level of competition in your work? Right? If you are getting answers to these kind of questions, if you ask your students, or if you could yourself get answers to these kind of questions, it will be easier for you to find your ikigai. Again, if there is any sort of lacking in those answers, like I said, if you found your love, if you found what you're good at, but if you can't be paid for it, there will be delightfulness, but there won't be any wealth, which will eventually create a void. And if you can be paid for it, you love it, and the world needs it, but you're not good at it, there will always be that sense of uncertainty, right? So the combination is the key. The combination to finding that is the key. Now, why do we need this? I've been going on about it for more than like 20 minutes. And why do we need this? Because we have, if you go ahead and Google up things which are going on currently in the world, there is this crisis of retirement that is coming around. People are, especially post COVID, people have felt this sense of unbelongingness. There is so much, so much of unbalance in the things that we are doing. People are striving for work life balance, but they are unable to achieve it. But this Okinawan concept clearly promises you that if you find your right ikigai, if you have that combination of those four things, you can design yourself an ideal work lifestyles that will give you exceptional and good, strong amount of social connections at work. It will create a healthy work life balance because you won't feel that pressure of doing things. And then you can pursue your dream career because, of course, you love what you're doing. And then eventually it will bring you joy. It will bring you that sense of contentment. And that is the reason probably those people in that small town of Japan are living for 100, 110, 120 years, right? Earlier, in back in the days, when we read, yesterday Prashant sir had a very interesting session on scriptures and ancient literature. The people then used to have these long lives, right? And the very reason that they had these long life could be that they had this sense of purpose. They had this sense that if I am here, I am solving some problem. I am making my time on this planet worthwhile. And with that purposeful sense, with that ideology of I am important, they were able to create a space for themselves, which helped them live a healthy, strong life. In our today's work style, lifestyle, we see people, young people, getting so many problems, getting blood pressure, sugar, all of these diabetic conditions and mental conditions and emotional conditions and whatnot. Every day, something new. Maybe one of the reasons for that could be that each one of us feel this excessive pressure of proving ourselves and making sure that we earn and making sure that we are good to go in life and making sure that we prove to that person that we are doing good. All of those pressures, right? But yeah, amongst all of this, to find a life with purpose can help us bring a greater balance to our work and life, right? So maybe if each one of us can try to find our ikigai, we can all go towards a healthy and a longer lifestyle. So how do we go ahead and do that? We can always start with creating small goals. We can go plan it out, think of what we love, and then make a list, and maybe we can, start working on it one step at a time. Definitely you would need a great support system around you. You need people who appreciate you. You need people who understand you. You need people who would be there in the times when you're down and the things are not working out. And then finally, every time you find an answer, you have to go and test it out. It is scary. It requires excessive amount of exploration. It will be very, very challenging, but at the end of it all, it will be worth it because you will be eventually having a more contented life. You will, as I said, you will not find your ikigai easy. You will have this excessive sense of overwhelmingness. You will feel like you're drowned in work and you're constantly looking for answers and you would be doing too many things at a time. You will feel overwhelmed. You will feel that you don't have enough time to do things that the other people your age are doing, or you would feel that you don't have enough time to give to or to the things that matter, or that kinds of things. There will be this fear that what if it doesn't work out? What if that career that I'm choosing, or what if that way that that I'm thinking of going on, what if it doesn't work out for me? What if it is not for me? But again, while doing these challenges, if you remember those questions, if you remember those purpose, if you're answering all of those four questions and you're making a point that those things are not off track, you will eventually get there. Of course, I am a very nominal person to talk about this. I'm sure if we hear it from somebody who is, more accomplished in the field and more, stronger than what we are as of now, we would believe in this concept more. So I found this very interesting video of Steve Jobs. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows him, and the video was titled "Connecting Dots." So he essentially talks about the way that his life has been and what was more important for him in the times of need. So I would first like you to watch this video, and after that we can continue on the topic. So Nani ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
uh, is the audio proper?
No, ma'am. Audio is not there. Voice is not.
Today, I want to tell stories of my life.
Yes, ma'am. Now audible.
Thank you, ma'am.
First story.
I think, ma'am, some error is there.
Sorry, ma'am.
Rachel, ma'am, it's not audible now.
It started before I was born.
Now
My
audible.
mother was a young graduate student.
Now audible, sir.
She felt very strongly about my fellow graduate students. My biological mother did not graduate from college. My father never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only went to 3 months later. My parents promised I would not publish.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the voice is very low. I'm not able to audible for this video. Can
Hello,
you raise the volume?
hello, Rachel, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Dr. Ajay. Sorry to
Yes, sir.
interrupt your session. This is a sincere request that if you mute your mic on Google Meet and
Fine.
then run the video normally, it will work. Thank you. Video is not audible, Rachel, ma'am.
Ajay, sir, I think there is that issue of audio. Is it creating too much of a disturbance if my mic is on?
Yes, if your mic is on, it is going on a eco mode. So maybe if your mic is off and we can restart the video, I believe it will work well.
Okay. Let me check.
Not audible, ma'am. Restart once we can try to restart the video.
I will stop sharing it from here and I will try to share it from here. Is that audible?
No, ma'am.
Enough. I think then another option rather than just wait like this. Will this echo?
Yes, ma'am, but it's very low.
No idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out.
Yes, ma'am.
So I decided to drop out and trust.
If you want to mute it and just read out the subtitle, like the phonetic CC, that would also work.
If I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting. It wasn't all romantic.
It's working.
So I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for 5-cent deposits to buy food. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and you can't connect the dots. You can only connect them backwards. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect. God, destiny, life. My second story is about love. I was lucky. I found what I love to do. Once I started out, my parents' garage was in 10 years having to go just to this. It just was the finest creation back into and I just and I got fired. So I was out. But the focus of my entire adult life was devastated. I really didn't know what to do. It was a very public failure. But something starts being done. I still don't. The turn of events now had not changed one bit. I was still soft. I didn't see that. You're about to get fired from that. Never happened. The heaviness of being successful took place at the lightness of being again. I'm convinced that anything that can be so I love what I did. Not to find love. As it is.
So, considering the technical error that we had, I think we can move on to the next slide.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
So I was saying that this is where I will stop the video because anyways we are facing that technical error and I'm going to return back to what I was speaking. Like I said, if we hear it from somebody who comes from a position, I believe we would hear it better. That it is important at the end of the day that we do what we love because if we have an answer there, if we have the right call, then automatically the things are going to get easier. So with that, I put a end to my speech and I hope that you all genuinely find your ikigai. I hope that this concept was interesting for you to hear. And there is more on it. You can all go ahead and read this interesting book on the same title. There are TED Talks, there are articles out there, and each one of us can go ahead and hopefully find your ikigai. I am still finding mine. It is not easy. And yeah, with that, I wish all of you all a very best. And that's a big thank you from my side. Sonali
If
ma'am.
anyone have any questions, then they can ask to the ma'am. Richa Gupta ma'am want to say something.
Yes, ma'am, I have. Sorry, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am, I have a query. Hello.
Yes, Pooja ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the video recordings will be there. Like the previous session, I was not able to attend. So, will there be any video recordings of the session?
I think they are going live on YouTube. Sonali ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It was a live
Ma'am, I
and
think that is
available
where
onto
you'll
the
find
YouTube
me.
channel. Ha.
Okay, so ma'am, you will be sharing that link, right, in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, ma'am.
I think
I'll,
it is already
okay.
there.
It is already there,
Uh,
ma'am. And if you
it's
have
okay.
not,
Okay,
I'll
I'll check,
send it
ma'am.
again.
No, I'll check, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Rachel ma'am, I have one question. That what is the first most initial step to get our ikigai?
Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am, for that kind question. Well, I believe the first and the most important stage would be self exploration. Because if we don't go out there and ask ourselves that question, that if I'm doing something, do I really want to do this? If I really enjoy it? Self explanation, as in, I must know what I love. If I know the kind of person that I am, I think I'll know what I love. I think I'll know what I'm good at. So I think the first and the foremost thing that you've got to do is find yourself, explore yourself as much as you can, as much as it can get scary, as much as it can take your time. It is important that you explore yourself to the maximum, because if you know yourself, I think you know a world.
Yes, definitely. Anyone? Any question? Richa Gupta ma'am, I think you raised the hand. Have you any
I
query?
think, ma'am, that was a response for the earlier thing where I asked people to. I think it was that.
Okay, okay, okay.
I see a few comments here and there. Thank you so much, Amrita ma'am. Thank you. I think that will be all from my side then, Sonali ma'am. You can call this.
Yeah, ma'am. I am having one more question. Basically, as you said, no, the way you explained that diagram of Ikigai, I got it. But people of my age usually have no some misunderstandings or confusions. We think like, yes, I found it and this is the right thing. But sometimes, no, things changes or our situation changes, our mind changes. So in that cases, what we are going to do?
See, it always will happen. It's not just you guys, Alvin. I mean, it is not just usually the student fraternity. Even people who are very well established in their career may feel that this is not their calling. At a very late stage in your life, you may realize that you're not doing what you should be doing, or you're not feeling happy what you're doing. It's not about age. It has nothing to do with age. It is more about, if you are doing what you're meant to do, if you're doing what you genuinely want to do, if you really feel driven by a purpose, you will live a more healthier life, thereby making yourself great at what you're doing, right? Even if you're starting afresh, even if you're starting afresh at 40 or 50 or 60, no matter what. But if you're starting afresh doing what you do and what you love, and you're good at it, it will essentially bring you more joy than doing something that you're not in love with, or doing something that you're not good at, or doing something which is not purpose driven. So the concept essentially doesn't talk about finding the right finding the career at fastest pace. It is finding the right career for you. It is finding the right combination of things that you should be doing. It is more about that. So, like I said, it will be scary, but it will be at the end of the day, it will be worth it because it is your happiness, it is your peace of mind, it is a healthy body and a healthy heart. That is all that matters at the end of the day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I can see something in the Karima Prastesi. Many a times we get confused between two things, and how should we find out the right thing? Garima, I hope those two things are essentially what you're saying, that these two things are the things that I'm good at, or these two things I love doing the best. I think there will be one quadrant which will be lacking always. Maybe those two things. One is something that the world needs less, and the other is something that the world needs more, or something you feel more in love with, and some other thing you might feel lesser in love with, or something that might pay well and the other might not pay that well. So you will always find that this balance between those two things. I think if you are exploring it right, you will eventually find the right answer. And what is the harm in trying both? If you love two things, try them both. That is life all about. You must not hold yourself back at any point of time.
Yes,
I
Rachel
hope I
ma'am.
answered your question. Good. Yes, sir.
Rachel ma'am, like many times we find students coming to us and they are saying that, sir, I'll do this, I'll do that. Many times they are saying like at particular point of time they are doing 10, 12 of different type of things. Okay. But uh, unfortunately, we can say they are not equally, we can say, getting success in all those areas. So what we as a professor should tell them about where to go.
Yes, sir. I got your point, what we are trying to
Yes.
do here. Uh, when I was talking about in the mid presentation, I talked about those four steps, which had an important part as a support system. We as teachers, we as people who are around the students who are trying to make it, would be their support system. And at this point of time, if at any point of time our students feel down and out trying something, we must remind them that maybe there is a greater world of opportunities out there. And most importantly, we as teachers have a huge role in helping them find out what they're good at. That another quadrant of where we are trying to identify that if we are good at something, as teachers we can help the students there in that quadrant, where the students will have to work lesser on their ikigai, because they will help a support, they will get a support from us telling them that, okay, but this is what you're good at, these are the things that you can really try out in terms of your career aspirations. And if I think that is, if we reduce their homework there, they can concentrate on more self exploration, which will eventually help them achieve their ikigai more quicker than probably we do. So I think as professors, we can definitely help our students, telling them that what they're good at, for which, of course, we as teachers do tend to have that, but we have to observe the students very minutely to give them that input, and try to make it as best as we can, because we can see 10 different students at one point of time, and we can easily compare the skills of those 10 students, and we can definitely tell them if they are wrong about some skills, that I'm good at it and probably they're not, but there could be a softer way to do that, of course. So we can help them in that quadrant majorly, and if they're down and out and if they feel like, no, this is not working.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Alvin?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Rachel ma'am, for this beautiful session. I hope all of our doubts will be solved, and especially that the whole diagram, the way you explained it was extraordinary. I mean, I have no words for that. And moving forward, for formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite ma'am, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this SDP and FDP. I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to our special guest, Professor Rachel Pravar, for delivering today's special session to uh, for the gathering and the Ikigai. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your thought-provoking address and the blessings. I'm sure that all the participants have taken note of your suggestions and will be discussing within their peer group for their actions to be initiated for their level also. My earliest thanks goes to the chairman, CEO of RFI, Dr. Saurabh Jain, CMD, RFI, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, and Dr. Ajay Jain also. I wish to express my deep sense for gratitude goes to our visionary director, Reverend Father Simon Raj, and respected principal Dr. Sister Alice Thomas for giving us the opportunity for this skill development program and FDP, faculty development program. I'd like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Ravi Vyas and Dr. Ajay Patil for their support and guidance. I'd like to thank for technical support team of RFI, all the faculty members. Last but not the least, I would like to appreciate the enthusiastic participation of the students and the faculty members and wish to thank them for making this student development program and faculty development program for a successful one. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Rachel ma'am, and thank you, Sonali ma'am, also. Being coordinator of this FDP, you have done a very great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team RFI, for this wonderful collaboration. Thank you, participants, for being there for all the 3 days. Thank you, Alvin, for such a nice, we can say, the comparing on both the days. And we'll be having such type of more programs in coming days. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.